Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got J Mitch. We got Jackie Boyd.
He tried to jump up and he might have knocked it in.
Good timing. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys will come in and say,
oh, God. So me and Joe on the ground. I got Joe in the headlock. And he's sitting there. He's punching me in the stomach, like, punching me.
Here, there's everyone sitting around. Who here thinks Ochenko can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad's been with the team 6 minutes. For 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Ochenko can practice today. And I was like, I look back and I'm like, Jesus Christ. I saw you there. You're more fucked up than me.
On the spirit plane had some issues, I think. She was sleep farting.
you heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her. I smelled.
Whoa. What was that?
Good show.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you going to bring your chinchilla and your turtle? My dad tell you about it?
In the SEC is, God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like they should
Players, look at Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
You're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach. I'm here.
He's like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now.
Hello. Welcome back to Mik'd. Today's Wednesday, February 26th. It is the week before Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras is right around the corner, and so because Mardi Gras is right around the corner, the baseball team has left Louisiana, and they are in Texas, and right now specifically in Dallas, Texas. Get them out of here.
Save yourself.
Hey, listen, Mardi Gras is a dangerous time. Can't be having you here. Can't be having home games during Mardi Gras holidays because, one, a lot of people probably aren't going to show up, and two, it's a little dangerous. The guys may sneak out after the game and go catch some beads and maybe go down to New Orleans, but they don't have the opportunity to do that. They are in Dallas tonight. They are playing in Globe Life Stadium, which is the big league stadium for the Texas Rangers. They're playing Dallas Baptist. If you don't know Dallas Baptist, they are usually a really good squad. This year is no exception. They are ranked in the top 20. I think they're ranked 16th in some polls, 15th in some polls. They have been in a regional every year but two for the last, what was that time frame, Jay?
I think since 2013, I believe.
Since 2013, they've been in a regional every year but 2 years. They're a really good opponent, especially for a midweek game. First game on the road because they didn't get to go to Nichols. So this will be LSU's first game on the road in Dallas in a big league stadium. So that'll be kind of cool for them to get a little bit of a change of scenery. We will have conversations about the Dallas Baptist series. Our friend Bryce Koon is his baseball debut in the studio, or not in the studio, via video call this year with us. We had a lot of great football conversations with him. Now we bring him in to talk baseball. It's been a minute, but he's waiting on the on-deck circle for us. Doug Thompson's also going to be live in studio at the 7 o'clock hour as first pitch is thrown. We're going to talk a little bit about the baseball game. Hard out for the boys at 7:30 because, not only are we media personalities, we're businessmen. We got some things you got to do.
Told you not to air my business out.
Hey, listen, you are a businessman now.
I'm a
You're
businessman.
doing some things. You're making some deals, wheeling and dealing. NFL Combine starts tomorrow, and so that's it. Let's get into the middle of the show. Jared, obviously, you are in Texas, so you're halfway to Dallas. Will you be there this weekend?
I will be there this weekend. I'm gonna go to the Friday and the Saturday game, kind of popping those two, see what it looks like, and kind of check the boys out in person for the first time this season. I'm looking forward to it.
Now the games this weekend are in Round Rock, correct?
No. They're in Frisco.
Okay, they're in Frisco. So the Double-A team.
Double-A.
They're Double-A team for the Rangers, not Round Rock, the Triple-A team for the Rangers. Okay, so you understand the confusion there. Just one of the minor league stadiums. Bryce, are you going to be in Frisco this weekend? Oh, wait, hold on.
I think he's muted himself.
Did you mute? Are you muted? He's not muted.
There we go.
Oh, he was muted.
There he is. He remembers how to do this thing.
Yeah, I forgot how to do this. No, I will. I'm not in Dallas tonight, but I will be. I'm flying out tomorrow afternoon, and then going to make the. I don't even know how. What's like a 20-30 minute drive with no traffic, but that doesn't exist in Dallas. So I'll drive up to Frisco, and I'll be there through the full weekend. Come back on Monday. So I know we're going to talk about it Friday afternoon, Friday night is looking like a fun one. That's looking like a really, really good game.
Yep, and that's what we're going to get into. Where you're back in. I know you're a baseball guy. You love baseball. You like watching baseball. You're obviously an Atlanta Braves fan, but now you're an LSU baseball fan. In your opinion or in your perspective from watching LSU of the first, was it 7 games they've played? They're 7-1 or 8 games they've played, whatever it was. What's your assessment of the Tigers so far, and do you have any concerns of things that you've seen so far?
7-1.
I know.
I think I'll start with, a lot of people were kind of freaking out the first game of the Saturday doubleheader, right? And obviously you guys can, point to this more than I can, but just in terms of the weather and then the type of arms you've been facing the first 2 weeks, it's just not one of those things where I think it's really conducive to what you've been facing throughout your spring scrimmage season and also throughout the fall as well with some of the arms that LSU has. So to me, bats always take a little bit to kind of warm up and everything like that. This is obviously going to be a step up in competition, but offensively, I'm not really worried because I think that a couple things. Jay has really done I guess you could say a good job of just kind of mixing and matching, finding guys where they feel comfortable. There's been some constants. Derek Curiel, one of those guys, it's kind of been a constant throughout the early portion of the season. So offensively, I'm not super concerned about a lot of different things. I feel okay, still mixing and matching, finding what combination you like. I saw the lineup was posted about 10 minutes ago before you guys went live, and I like seeing Ashton Larson in there just because I think he's a guy that just finds a way to get on. I don't think he's the best, and I mean this in all due respect, I don't think he's the best defender they've got in the outfield. I don't think that he's necessarily the best power hitter, but he just finds a way, right? And they've got him in that DH spot, kind of in the middle of the order tonight, so I'm excited to see what he does there. And then on the other side of things, I am pumped about the pitching staff. Yeah. It is just really, really fun, and I'm really intrigued to kind of head over and watch the game and Lloyd will love this. I've already got Cageonomics loaded up and ready to go. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that live, but
we talked off air. We've talked off air about this. There's been a little drama with the Cageonomics stuff. The Cageonomics crowd, Lloyd's big into this, and apparently he got canceled.
Not me.
No, not Lloyd.
Yeah.
Cageonomics.
But I raided the troops on what I believe it was a Monday night, where there's a small army behind Cageonomics that it's the Cajun Army. Whenever your number is called, it's time to rally, and where we operate best is in the Twitter sphere. We got an account deleted and 3 posts deleted, so I feel good about the work that was done. And if I know anything about my man Cajun, it's a statement game for him.
There you go.
Legacy game.
There you go. Yeah. Hey, we bit the bullet here in the studio, and I purchased Flow Sports for the weekend,
for the
right?
month.
Is it like
it's D1 baseball? It's not even Flow Sports this weekend, isn't it? Flow Sports tonight.
Yes, tonight. But I have D1 baseball already, so I'll just cancel the membership. After tonight.
$20 for one game.
No, it was $12.99.
No telling how many times
I just
you bought
paid
it.
20, so I don't know what we're doing.
There you go.
But yeah, what I was saying, pitching staff, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they do tonight, just in terms of how long you want Connor Ware to go and how you can piggyback him to the back end of the bullpen with a guy like Zach Cowan. I mean, I think it'll be interesting to kind of see who's available, who goes tonight.
Do you think that's what they're going to do? You think they're going to go Connor Ware, then Zach Cowan, and then whoever else? Do you think Guidry throws today at all?
He's hurt.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Like hurt or like
mid?
Yeah, he's
this
hurt.
is what I have to deal with,
Yeah.
Bryce. I mean, Jesus
Bryce,
Christ.
Is he like hurt, or is it like, hey, he's not?
He's the pro here.
Jake Johnson said he is not pitching this week. Like, I think that was.
Did he come out? See, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that.
This ain't no hobby,
man, guys.
Yeah, when did he come out and say that?
Monday.
Oh, see, we were on the show, and I didn't really see it. Sorry. Had other things. My bad.
No, but in all seriousness, I mean, I think they could piggyback. I like the idea of taking one of your younger guys and piggybacking it with Zach Cowan. Maybe you get to the 5th, 6th inning, and then you can kind of turn it over. Because what was it? Cowan's last outing, faced 6, struck out 3, faced the minimum, and he was really, really good. And
has a ton of movement.
What he does.
Has a ton of movement.
Yeah, he does.
He's kind of a different style pitcher than anybody else they've got on their staff, or anybody else they've got kind of like in their bullpen or starters. Either one, right? He just pitches the contact, but getting strikeouts, has a lot more movement.
Little Holman-esque.
Yeah, not as electric, I don't think, with the fastball, but can definitely move the ball around the strike zone for sure.
See, Mikey doesn't know that Guidry's hurt, but he's very much up to date on the Ole Miss saga and whose dad's whose and which girl's what. Yeah, that's where he's caught up in.
The Ole Miss saga.
Yeah,
there's no Ole Miss saga going on anymore.
I don't.
I'm a reality
man
TV.
Of faith.
What is this Ole Miss saga you speak of?
I'll just say this. I wish I could be as unplugged as Mikey is. That's what I wish.
Well, I made one mistake. Make one mistake and I'm unplugged. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
He's never been more plugged in. He's got.
No, I'm saying if you don't know what's happening over in Oxford, then you really truly are unplugged. Like that.
I must be unplugged as hell too, because I don't know what's going on. Anybody want to enlighten me?
It hit my Twitter timeline that last night, and it was
It's a burner fest.
I really don't know. Now I don't know what's happening. Can y'all explain to me what's going on?
I mean, I can. So there's
Go ahead.
Yeah, feel free to chime in at any point, because this is the way I interpreted it. There's this, I'm not going to, what is it called? Yeah, Katie Lee Cowan, I think is her name, something like that.
So you are going to name names.
Well, yeah, she's out there.
Who is this?
She's some sorority girl at Ole Miss that was dating a guy. The guy's name's out there too. She's apparently a serial philanderer. She was Venmoing people $150 to not tell her boyfriend that she was cheating on him, which is a great grift. Good for him. And it got to the point where apparently, allegedly, very much this is all on Snapchat and Twitter and all of these burner coaches that are on Twitter, which is the most bizarre scenario. This is their time in the sun. This is their moment, and they are capitalizing. But apparently it got out that she slept with her boyfriend's dad.
That's the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, see, I just saw the headline from Barstool Sports. Didn't know that it was an Ole Miss. I got it now. Okay.
Yeah, so she took her sorority letters off of her byline. The sorority has gone private on Instagram. It's a whole fiasco.
Okay.
And now everybody's DMing this guy. He's getting a Venmo comeuppance, so everybody's Venmoing him money because they feel bad for him.
Oh, that's okay.
And
Good for him.
Condoms for her mom. Like you have to get your lick back. So
okay. I got it.
You're
now
caught up.
Look, now we're caught up. I appreciate it.
Put that on 247 Sports.
Back to the baseball conversation. I'm gonna bring in Jared in this. I'm gonna bring in Jared in this conversation, and then then we can have a discussion. Huh?
Nice little huddle film out there too. You played quarterback, 2-year starter.
Nice. Yeah. Jared, the lineup comes out.
She did, or the mom did, or the dad did.
No, the guy that got cucked. Quarterback.
The lineup comes out, and you have Jared Jones hitting 2-hole. How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
I
don't really feel. I kind of felt like at some point in the year that was going to possibly happen as well. I'm probably more. I don't know if you saw me earlier. I was literally staring at this thing and kind of studying it. I'm probably more intrigued as to what's going to happen from 3 through 6 and kind of see how that part of the lineup performs. Because you got Larson right behind him in 3, you got Dickinson at the 4, you got Milam at the 5, and Hernandez at the 6. I kind of want to see how that little sandwiched of an area is going to kind of perform, because I think that's an interesting way to go about it. I don't know if I love it. I don't know if I hate it, but I am interested to see what kind of production comes out of it, because I would imagine if you get something that's highly productive, he's going to want to stick to something like this a lot more, which I don't think anybody in this podcast and probably anybody in Baton Rouge would say, yeah, I expect to see Dickinson hitting 4-hole and I expect to see Milam hitting 5-hole for a large portion of the season. So this particular setup right here is very interesting to me, and I'm curious to see how it plays out.
So you didn't expect to see Dickinson and Milam hit in the middle of the lineup?
Hell no.
What? Really?
The 3 and 4 hole?
They're hitting 4 and 5 hole.
4 and 5 is where you're going to tell me right now that you expected to see Dickinson and Milam in the 4 and 5 hole of the lineup this year for the majority of the year.
Yes. Why would you not? Dickinson's a projected first rounder who hit 18 home runs, hit 360 last year. Why would he not be in the middle of the lineup?
Yeah, because me personally, if I got somebody who's hitting 18 home runs and who stole 20 plus, I probably would want him at the top of my lineup. That's where I would probably want him. I'd probably want him on in front of Jared Jones. Right. That's what I would probably want him. And for somebody like Milam who balled, you just asked me why. And for somebody like Milam who balled out at the top of my lineup, I would probably want him hitting either in front of or behind Dickinson, in front of Jared Jones for the majority of my year. That's where I would probably want him. So I'm just saying, if you're telling me that you saw them at 4 or 5, please tell me why you saw them at 4 or 5.
I saw Dickinson at 4 or 5 because I saw him hitting. We talked about who's going to protect Jared Jones. That was the guy coming in that was going to protect Jared Jones because he had the most experience. He has the most talent coming in. He's the highest projected guy outside of Jared Jones in the lineup. So he would have been a protection. Yeah, Milam hitting 5-hole. I thought maybe he was going to be hitting 1 or 2-hole. But Curio doing what he's been doing. Obviously, he's hitting 414, so they're going to put him at the top of the lineup.
But we're not talking about. I said coming into the year.
Yeah, I can see Dickinson.
Right
Milam hitting 5.
Well, I'm saying
Milam hitting 5-hole.
You can't tell me this was on your bingo card.
No, Dickinson. Maybe not Milam, but Dickinson for sure.
So the guy you expected to see have the most stolen bases on our team this year, and I think that's a pretty fair assumption, possibly him and probably Stanfield. You expected to see be our cleanup hitter this year?
Yeah.
Lloyd, have you heard him say that yet?
Jared, I led the team in stolen bases. I was hitting 3-hole 2, 4-hole 2.
That's not what I asked you, Lloyd. Have you heard him say that yet this year? Because I haven't.
No, I don't think it's. I don't think it's fair to say we've had the discussion.
Yeah, we haven't had that discussion. Should be leading off or should be hitting 4-hole.
It's not
like that's not a discussion. That was never a discussion.
It is fair.
Bryce, what do you think?
Welcome to the show, pal.
Preseason? Yeah. Well, hey, yeah. Welcome back. No, preseason. I did not have Dickinson in the 4-hole. Like I thought that I'll go with Jared. Like before we've seen what we've seen. just projectability of what he was and what we thought he was, everything you heard from the scouting reports. It was kind of one of these things that I was like, hey, that's maybe. I was like, what if you lead him off? Now, obviously, that's before you kind of knew Curiel would, be pretty good through the first portion of the season. And kind of to Jared's point of Milam, like the protection aspect of Jared Jones, I think I want to be as nice as possible here. I think the logic for me was these guys that get on base at a pretty high clip, get them on in front of Jared Jones. And maybe a Jake Brown, an Ashton Larson, someone emerges that can be in that 4 or 5 behind him to lengthen the lineup. Not that they would have put all their eggs in one basket, but I think preseason, before we've seen what Dickinson is, I probably would have put him as 1-2, something like that, along with Milam in that case. But I do think Curiel now changes things.
My argument, even without Curiel, my argument was if you have Larson is a bat-to-ball, work the count, get on base guy. He proved that last year. He showed that last year.
Yeah.
Right? That's not a guy that you put behind someone to protect him. Right? That was the conversation.
He's behind him to protect him, right? He's behind him today to protect him.
Who? Stop it. I understand. Your whole argument for the beginning of the season is somebody behind Jared. Who's going to emerge behind Jared Jones to put fear in the other pitcher's eyes? Not because they're walking, because they're driving the ball. Larson's not that guy. He's a great hitter, but he's not going to put fear in a pitcher's eyes because he's going to drive the ball at the ballpark. That has been the argument. Now, what Jay did was move Jared Jones to the 2-hole, which I like actually. Because statistically, if you go look at all the analytics around baseball, the 3-hole has the most amount of at-bats that they have through the course of a season with nobody on and 2 outs. Throughout the course of the season, that is by far the position lineup that has the most at-bats with nobody on and 2 outs, analytically. 2-hole has a lot better number.
Let me ask you this.
Technically, 5-hole is the better one.
I don't know the exact answer to this. I don't know the exact answer to this, but let me just ask you this. And I would imagine you probably don't either, but if you had to guess, analytically, who usually has the most RBIs usually in your lineup?
The 5-hole.
Or what spot usually?
The 4 or 5-hole.
Okay, so you like the 5-hole being filled with our switch-hitting guy that we hope, just maybe hope, has 15 homers this year?
I'm not saying I'm talking more about Dickinson than Milam. Right now, nobody has proven that they're driving any balls out of the ballpark, and they're hitting a ton of homers outside of Jared Jones. So
that's completely off subject of of my only argument in this entire situation. I'm not saying of what they've looked like through 7 games of the year. I'm saying when I see this lineup today, if this lineup performs well, I don't think a lot of people could sit here and say we would have seen 3 through 6 look like this in the lineup for majority of the year. I'm not saying that it will going forward. I just don't believe it.
I'm not disagreeing with you at all on that. I would not have seen Larson in 3-hole. And look, Milam hitting 5-hole is not something I said. The Dickinson in 4-hole is what I honestly, before the season, was like, I would not be shocked to see that. But the Milam in 5, I thought I was shocked to see Milam in the 8-hole to start the season, quite honestly. I thought he was going to be at the top of the lineup. He hasn't been. But Dickinson in 4 doesn't shock me.
Is it fair to say that just maybe, this isn't written in stone? Like this will change throughout
no doubt.
the year?
It's changing. It's changing.
Hold on.
Of course.
The reason I say that is because who's been getting the majority of your RBIs this year? It's been Dickinson. Whenever he's come up with runners on, he's been able to put people he's been able to score runs. So I think Jay's looking at what's happened over this year so far to date and saying, with runners in scoring position, which is where LSU has struggled over the last 2 years, it's like this guy's propensity to drive people in, but it doesn't matter if it's a home run. He's hitting doubles down the line.
Right.
He's able to move these guys in front of him. But I think this is just a product of playing who's hot right now and putting them in the spot to be able to produce the most.
Basically, what he did was he put the leading RBI guys in the top of the lineup. Jared Jones got 12. Dickinson's got 12.
That's 100%. I don't know. I'm the only argument. If there's an argument that I'm making, is not off of what's happened through 7. It's what I said. If you would have seen this at the beginning of the year, because like I said, if this performs well, I'm not saying that it's sticking for the next 20. I'm not saying that it's sticking for the next 40. But you got to believe he's going to go back to the well. You got to believe he likes this opportunity for it to do it again. So I'm saying if it happens and they play well and it catches fire, I don't think people would have said, yeah, I seen this being our middle of the lineup all year. That's all I'm saying. I ain't saying shit about what's happened through 7 or 8 games so far this year. I'm saying before they kicked it off on Valentine's Day, don't tell me that that's what you saw in that spot.
No, out of all those guys, I didn't see Larson 3-hole. I did see Dickinson in the middle lineup. That's my opinion. Milam, I thought he was going to be at the top. Hernandez hasn't done shit. Hernandez hasn't shown anything anything that has proven that, he should be right there to drive guys in and protect anybody because he just hasn't gotten high yet. Not saying he's not going to.
I think before the year and going to, like, seeing the reports, and Bryce, you can speak to this too, like going there and watching the way the lineups were rolled out, it was very much having, like, Dickinson was at the top of the lineup a ton, and then you see and Stanfield was batting at the top of the lineup. They were on opposite teams a lot, but the lineup that we saw and we felt like would probably be your opening day lineup was Dickinson, Milam, Jones. Those were the first 3 that you saw. I was like, this feels right, and then
in whatever order.
I thought that was going to be the first 3. And then you have somebody behind him, and we saw Hernandez bat behind him. We've seen Jake Brown behind him. This is, in my mind, this is clearly a case of, hey, Curiel's been hot. He's been getting on base. Jones has been so, I guess, protective at the plate to where he's not chasing anything. He's very much looking for his one pitch, and he's not afraid to walk. So you can bat him in the 2-hole. And then you have Larson, who has a swing and miss potential, but then you have Dickinson behind him, and now if you get Jones on and Larson's behind him, he's not going to ground into too many double plays. So you keep this thing turning over a little bit. He's fast enough to be able to avoid that.
But he hits more balls on the ground than most.
Right, but I do think in college it's hard to double up somebody from the left side.
Yeah, I agree. Bryce, if you were looking at the lineup, right, I guess grade this lineup, and then moving forward, what would you like to see differently?
Yeah, throw your hat in this ring.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You got caught up right in the mix of this.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I'm glad I'm the arbitrator of this. No, going back to what Lloyd said, though, when we were in the preseason scrimmages, right? Like, you had split teams, and you saw Dickinson a lot leading off for the white team or the gold team, and you obviously saw Stanfield leading off for the other side of things. I think when I look at this lineup, and I got it right here in front of me, I will say, now Luis Hernandez had, 3 doubles last weekend? Like, he unhitched the wagon a couple times, got around the base pass. Like, maybe he's starting to see something a little bit that helps in terms of that. So I don't mind him sitting in, the 6-hole. So I think the big piece to the puzzle for me is this, is where does Milam fit? Kind of going back to where Jared said, Milam does not strike me as a middle of the order.
No, I agree with that.
I'm trying to diss the kid, and I'm trying to say that. So I think I'm cool. Like, putting your best hitter in the 2-hole, we're seeing that a lot analytically at the major league level now. Like, obviously I'm a Braves fan. We saw a lot that when Freddie Freeman was in Atlanta, like putting that guy to make sure he gets at bats, but also has a couple guys that get on in front of him. I think that Milam is kind of an interesting case study of where he wants to go right now. But in terms of this lineup tonight, I think that if this is going to work, what are you going to have to see? Ashton Larson, you mentioned consistent bat-to-ball guy, but I think he's got to take the next step as kind of what Mikie was looking at. He has to be a threat. That when he steps in the box, the pitcher on the mound is like, God, this isn't easy. Not in the sense of he's going to, hit a 106-mile-per-hour ground ball in the 6-hole, but that he can hit one 350 at any moment. And Larson's not that guy yet. Maybe he does. I don't know. I'm not going to put expectations. I think that's the weird part of it, though, is that you have a guy in the 3-hole who is not a traditional baseball sense, a 3-hole hitter. You've got a guy in the 5-hole that isn't that. So not trying to rehash what you guys are talking about, but maybe this offers this. From what I took away is Jared is saying in the preseason, on February the 12th, if you drew out your
I get that.
This is not what you would write out. Whereas now, with some data points, it makes sense why they went there. I don't hate this. I think, and would love your guys' opinion on this, the Braswell-Stanfield combination at 8-9 is something where, to me, that's turning the lineup over. It lengthens the lineup. It kind of gives you some table setter guys that can get you back to Curiel, who's swinging it well, get you back to Jones. You've got to figure out, and Jared talked about this, the 3 through 6 combination, because I would honestly, I'd love to see, based on the current data we have, I would have rather seen Dickinson switch with Larson. But if your idea is, and Lloyd talked about this, and this is really getting into the semantics of it, if your idea is, well, what if Larson pops out or something like that, you still have a formidable bat that can get the job done, and you're not bunching them all together. You've got a couple spots. So maybe that answers the question. I think that they know Dickinson can hit. They know that Hernandez is maybe turning a corner with the weekend he had against Omaha, and then obviously the game against Nichols on Monday. But just in terms of what Larson and Mine, those are the two guys. It's like, okay, they've got to take some jumps as guys that maybe we don't even profile them as in terms of the projection to really make this lineup 1 through 9. There's there is fear that strikes into the picture.
And I said I was shocked that Milam was at the bottom of the lineup to start the season. I didn't hate it, to be honest with you. Like, I really didn't hate it because it gave you talk about turning the lineup over. Braswell hasn't really swung it great. He swung it okay in the first weekend, but he hasn't swung it great. He's obviously been in and out of the lineup the last couple of games trying to get I'm drawing a blank. Tanner Reeves, trying to get him into the game. And so I'm interested to see, yes, I do like the turnover with Stanfield down there as a 9-hole, but I'm interested to see if both of those guys are not swinging it very well, then that gives you 2 outs at the end of the lineup that really ends up, you want it to turn over, but they don't really turn over. That's why I kind of liked Milam down there, because you got a switch hitter who's been proven that he's going to get hits, especially if you're going to have Jones in the 2-hole.
So here's my little thing about the Stanfield thing, which it's a little nugget that I did not know about last year, which gives me a lot of little hope. Y'all do realize that Stanfield led Auburn's team last year in multi-hit games.
Yeah.
So it makes me feel a lot better about whatever you see. He finds ways to get hits. Seems like he's a great fit at the bottom at any time, and he can maybe pencil in and move himself to the top at certain times during the year. So like I'm very okay with him, and I don't really have like the if he doesn't hit. He seems to be a guy that finds a way to kind of be a disruptor at that spot. Now, understand this. I am truly not trying to compare this lineup to 2023. I'm not doing that at all. It's not the same thing. But I will say this. So I love the thought of like my most impactful big power hitter hitting 2. But usually when you see guys do that, they usually put a guy who can drive and who's really shown the propensity to drive the ball in the leadoff spot. The reason why I'm saying that is because I go back to 2023, LSU's best hitter was in the 2-hole. That was Dylan Cruz. You know who hit number 1 in that championship game? You know who led that thing off? Cade Beloso, right? 2 different types of hitters in terms of Curiel and Beloso, correct? Right. I'm not saying anything about it. All I'm saying is if I'm not going to really have somebody that's striking fear in you yet to the day, right now, as somebody that's going to drive the ball in gaps and drive the ball in the seats, hitting behind Jones right now as Larson, like everybody knows Larson's a good hitter. We need to see him take that next step. And I think the kid's gotten bigger. He seems like he's taking the route to do that, but we need to see it. So my point is if you got a guy in front of him who right now we know as a singles hitter and it's got some kind of gap-to-gap potential, right? Then you got the guy that everybody fears. And then you got the guy behind him that nobody really sees as, oh shit. If I go back to that 23 lineup, it's Dylan Cruz in the 2, Cade Beloso at the 1, Tommy White at the 3, Trey Morgan at the 4, Gavin Dugas at the 5, Braden Jobert at the 6. All of them dudes scare the shit out of you, right? And I get it. This team has some guys that quote unquote has to graduate. So I'm not saying that as it's written up, it won't go that way. But my likes of what I see when I see like our best hitter in the 2 has to have some protection. And we knew that Jared Jones was going to have protection behind him anyway. But the way this is set up is very interesting because it seems like there's ways that you can move around it as it is today. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no doubt. And look, I like Stanfield. I was more focused on the Braswell part of that. If like Stanfield's hitting 391 right now, like I have no problem with Stanfield. Braswell's hitting 211, right? Braswell had a good year last year.
He hit 300 last year, so like I kind of got to give him somewhere in the middle.
No doubt, yeah. No doubt. But I'm just saying, if I had a concern at the bottom of the lineup, that was it. That's why I liked Milam down there because it kind of gave you. It didn't allow the pitchers to have a break. It had a guy that this guy hit 9 homers and 320 last year. Bryce, Sorry for keeping you on a little later. You got jumped in the middle of this conversation, dude.
It's a good one.
I love that we get to do that. I love that we just fill you in as like a part of the squad. So we appreciate you. Last thing before you go, before I let you leave, you're going to be there this weekend. What do you want to see from LSU this weekend? Obviously, they play Dallas Baptist tonight, but then they play Kansas State, who Kansas State is a good team. They beat Arkansas. What do you want to see from them this weekend in the first weekend of like elevated competition?
Yeah, it might be just deemed as like coach speak, but I think situational baseball. Like I'm excited to see what Jay Johnson does in terms of the situational managing of the game with this version. Because a lot of people were maybe critical or talked about the 2024. Obviously, 2023 was what it was, but this is to me is the first chance to really kind of get into situational type of managing and execution on the lineup part of how you want to do things. And the same thing is obviously with the bullpen. Like I think we're going to maybe see a little bit, especially in that Kansas State game. Like you got to go back to what they did last week, and you mentioned Arkansas, but they also beat Michigan, and then they beat 3 top 25 teams. So I can't remember what the third team was, but they, especially late in the ball game, they were really good at executing, situational, moving the runner over, runner at second, less than 2 outs, like that type of stuff. So, pitching matchups, where you want to go with the bullpen, I think this is the first chance where it's not just Jay's running someone out there and everything's planned. I'm not trying to say he's not planned, but that this is the first chance where it's like, okay, when we circle this guy in the lineup, this is when we're going to this guy, or we're going to this guy type of thing. This is the first opportunity to really see that. So the situational side, both on the offense and defense. And then I just think that we've obviously talked about it, but just this lineup, like this is kind of the first test for me of where you're going to face some guys that, velo-wise, they can be kind of close to what you face in the spring. I mean, shout out to the kid from Purdue, Fort Wayne, the lefty that threw on, I guess, was it Sunday or Saturday? I mean, the Joker was throwing like 83. I mean, like it was crazy. Like you're not going to see that. And so with this lineup, like who takes the step? Is this a weekend where, like Jared said, like does Chris Stanfield? The thing I love about Stanfield, and I've watched him for 2 years now, like he just puts pressure on opposing defenses. Like he just puts the pressure on you to make the play. And oftentimes, not in college, like if you don't make the play, and especially with his speed, it's going to put you in trouble. So just this lineup in general, I want to see like how they adapt to now. Okay, and no disrespect to the previous opponents, here's some of the big boy pitching, guys that know how to pitch. They're not just out there throwing. They know how to set up. There's maybe a game plan. And true, there's a little bit of film, I guess we could say, if that's the right word, in terms of what maybe your tendencies are through the first 2 weeks and what maybe you're struggling with, something like that. So that's the two big things that I'm watching. I would say, and kind of going back to it, the biggest thing to me is the pitching. Like I want to see how Jay utilizes certain guys in certain situations. Is it way too early to start that? I think it's a perfect opportunity to get some guys accustomed to some situations.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think you're going to see them. Jay probably has in his mind what roles he wants to use them for, right? He really hasn't had, outside of that one game against Omaha, that was kind of a fluky, hey, we gave up 5 runs and it got tight. You're going to have tight situations this weekend, maybe tonight, and then moving on through the weekend. So I'm interested to see how they handle that because the pitching staff is electric. The next step, and we've talked about this on the show, the graduation of the next level of the pitching staff is how do you get out of trouble whenever you're facing a talented lineup that's going to put pressure on you and get on base. Like you walk a couple guys and it's a 1-run game and you got to come in out the bullpen and there's runners on first and second or second and third with 1 out and you're up by 1. I think we're going to see some of those situations this weekend. So I agree with you. I think that's going to be real interesting to watch.
And
Bryce,
last thing before I get out of here real quick.
Yep.
I'm interested to see how Ianson performs.
Yeah.
I love the fact that he's a change of pace from what they have on the staff. I asked him the question as kind of a sidebar as he was leaving just about, his percentage of pitch mix. And like he said, he's nearly been down the middle in terms of breaking ball and fastball for a long time, like dating back to high school. And so, look, that can work. Like you can fool guys that, are wearing a different jersey that, is, Purdue, Fort Wayne's, and Omaha's. But when you start to play this, like, if you float that breaking ball that you can't get away with, and now you've got to come back and bear down, and they know that you don't have 95, 96 to get past you to that, kind of just bearing down on you. Jay used this word a lot. I'm not even sure if it's a word in the English dictionary, but I love it. His pitchability. This is where it's really tested for him, just in terms of how he understands mentally how to get in and out of situations and setting guys up. I think that's something I'm They play that'll be Nebraska on Saturday
Yep.
that he'll face. Like that'll be a fun one to watch. How just the mental battle and whoever's catching him. So
For sure. Bryce, as always, we appreciate you. Looking forward to having these baseball conversations throughout the course of the year. Enjoy Dallas. Have a safe flight. We'll have you on maybe next week, and you can recap the weekend and how Frisco is. I love Frisco. Frisco's a great spot. So enjoy it. Be safe. Appreciate you.
awesome. Appreciate it, fellas.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
They do.
Now he's gonna have to scarf down his dinner.
And I'm sorry. We're always a little late. That was our fault.
Good
It's a
conversation.
good conversation, man. Bryce
great
mentioned it a lot,
conversation.
and I think it's actually really cool. This is the first week where the competition's got a little more horsepower under the hood this weekend. So it'll be interesting to see how he puts this thing together. Yeah, you guys hear this. This is going on right now.
Luka,
Where's Luca?
you didn't see that tail?
I didn't see the
He's right
tail.
behind me right now. Yeah, no, he's right behind me.
I'm trying to see if
Oh,
there he is. Look at Luca.
I didn't want to be on camera. Dad.
He's just trying to figure it out.
Why is the door shut behind me?
Do we
Attack.
do we know if is Kansas State ranked?
I know they
I believe they are.
That's what I'm looking up right
I think
now.
they're top 25 for sure, if I'm not mistaken. And also, they were a regional team last year.
Right. And they beat Arkansas this year.
And I'm pretty sure a friend of ours, and we haven't seen him in a long time, but I actually got a chance to talk to him a little bit last year, still the hitting coach there. Mahtook?
Where? Oh, at Austin Waits.
Yep.
Yeah, he's been there for a minute.
Yeah.
He's been there for a minute. You're gonna see him
So
this
he's obviously
weekend.
done a really good job there. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, he has. He has done a really good job there. And look, Kansas State always gets a little sneaky in the baseball. You don't really think of Kansas State as a good baseball team, but they're always, at least the last few years, they've kind of been right in the mix of postseason baseball, and you feel like they've kind of been in the conversation of some upsets. But obviously, interesting conversation that we had in the lineup. Like the lineup's always is gonna be tweaked throughout the course of the year. I think you've seen. You don't know where they're going to be in the lineup, but I think you've seen the guys that he's going to consistently put in the lineup, right? Like, last year you saw it was almost like completely different lineups week to week. This year, this year so far, it's been the same 10, 11 guys just kind of shuffle around. And I think that's going to be that they're going to figure that out, but it's better. That's better than just having, hey, we got 16 dudes, and we're just going to keep trying to shuffle new guys in there. I think he's giving these guys more at-bats.
Yeah, he's definitely done it at the top. Like you've pretty much seen, for the most part, like the same guys at the top, which makes you feel good about how he feels about those guys and where they fit in his lineup and how he projects that out through the rest of the season.
Yeah. It's Curiel at the top of the lineup. I think he's riding the hot hand there. He's hitting 415. I think that's, I don't know if he's going to be there. Maybe he is going to be there at the top. You need to see like we talked about. You got to see the guys at the middle to end of the lineup start to figure some stuff out, and maybe Hernandez has. I think Hernandez is a big key too. If Hernandez starts figuring out and adds the thump that he's expected to have, I think that goes a long way in the lineup.
Hey, we talked about him previously too, man, and I get it. Like he hasn't been like on top of his game. He hasn't gotten hot yet. He hasn't really scared anyone yet. Although he did hit the 3 doubles, and I think one of them was hit very well last week. He's one of those guys in the box where I think he had a 20 homer year last year. But if you just look at him in the box, he looks so damn hitterish in the box, and he looks like someone that can make some noise in the box. And so it's like if he starts to come on, him in that 6th spot tonight, if you feel like he's one of those guys that can kind of float between that 4 to maybe 7th spot in the lineup.
Yeah, and that's, we and Lloyd have talked about. I think once he gets comfortable, right, like once he kind of gets his feet on the ground and feels good here, I think you're going to start seeing the thump come out. And I think you're going to start seeing the offense look a little different. and you don't usually see one guy change an offense. But I think having an extra guy in the lineup that has some juice like that, I think that makes a big difference.
Also, it could
Yeah.
be a little bit of him or Jay saying, like, maybe this is how I think from an LSU perspective, we're still used to having, like, the pop in the lineup, whether it be, like, you're looking for somebody to protect you, like, whether it be your big bopper and Bear Jones, and you always have had somebody, like, kind of behind you. It could be a testament to, like, this is how this team's built. Like, it may not be the protection that you're used to with a big bat that's, like, the traditional way, but it could be like, we're going to turn this thing over a couple of times and keep pressure on you the entire game.
Well, I'll be honest with you, Lloyd. Like, you may not be wrong about that, but me personally, I'm a firm believer in not to be just a good team, but to really take this thing deep into a postseason. There is a such thing as like lineup construction that kind of somewhat sort of needs to be there. And like, it is hard to consistently all year be just we're going to put pressure on you, but we don't actually scare you.
Yeah, right.
And we can't really drive the ball into the gaps and out of the park. I'm not saying it's got to be homers, but I think that kind of presence needs to be there on like truly championship ball clubs, especially in the SEC.
Well,
I personally believe that.
To your point, did we ever take Kentucky seriously 2 years ago?
Right.
No. Because what they do, put pressure on you, try to get on base, move around. Hey, great, a lot of wins for sure, right? Same thing in in the big leagues. Like, you can do a lot of things and get a lot of wins in the regular season, but once you get to the postseason and every team in the postseason is elite, those teams don't usually win championships. And so that, to your point, Jared, like, we never took Kentucky seriously 2 years ago because, that's not going to play. It's going to catch up with it, and it did.
And then here's another one too. Like we really don't have to go that much further than last year. Arkansas had an all-world pitching staff last year, and we never believed that they could hit. And guess what they didn't do when it came to the postseason?
Right.
They didn't advance. So that's just me. Like I said, I don't have facts to it. I don't have stats to it. But from what my eyes have seen, and I'm sure there is stats that could literally back this up, I think that
it's gonna be interesting to see how they respond this week. I have an inkling. I don't know about the whole weekend, but I think tonight you're going to see the offense be a little bit more explosive than you see. I'm not saying they're going to drive the ball out of the ballpark, but I think you're going to see some loud outs. You're going to see some loud balls hitting the gaps, and you're going to see these guys, having a lot more extra base hits than they've had so far throughout the year. And I'm saying that based off of just a feel and based off of kind of how I watched them play last week, and it was kind of sluggish. And then the next game of the doubleheader was a little bit better, and then they took care of business on Monday. It just feels like they are starting to get a little bit more comfortable at the plate, and it's a good weekend to kind of figure that stuff out. Also,
is there anything in specific that you've seen to make you feel that way? And that's just me. Just me asking a question.
Man, it's the way that they are. I guess the last couple games, like the way that they have been a little bit more aggressive early in counts, right? Like it felt like they were trying to feel out. It was almost like they were like the first 3 rounds of a boxing match, and you're just kind of jabbing, trying to figure out how you're gonna approach this. The last couple games, it's felt like they've been a little bit more aggressive early in counts, not chasing bad pitches, but being more aggressive and putting off their better swings early in counts. And by doing that, they've put themselves in a position to get more better pitches because, pitchers are trying not to, hey, they're aggressive. Pitcher doesn't want to really make a mistake. And when you try not to make mistake, you end up making more mistakes. In the last couple of games, it just seemed like they've been more aggressive. So that if I had to pick on one thing, that would be it.
Nice. Who do you think, Lloyd?
What was the question? I was refreshing the stream.
Oh.
That was good.
Oh.
I was just I got to converse with the people to make sure I know what's going on.
I got you. No,
So
that's part of it.
Give it a little buff. What was the question? I got an answer. I got takes on everything.
The answer is
the question. I don't need.
Or
the
question.
Jeopardy.
The question was. I said that I think the offense today, which I say that being right after I bet the over.
Oh.
Yeah, but as we were talking about it, I was thinking about the last couple games, and it feels like they've been more aggressive the last couple of games than they've been the previous games, and I feel like the offense is starting to get a little bit more comfortable. He talked about Luis Hernandez. He had 3 doubles over the weekend. It feels like he's kind of getting a little bit more confident. Dickinson had some RBIs. Jared Jones had another home run off his face. Like, it just feels like Milam had 5 RBIs. He kind of had his breakout game. So it just feels like the guys are starting to get comfortable.
Any risk to putting Curiel leadoff? You've seen Jay do this before. A risk?
Is that what you said, risk?
Uh-huh. You've seen Jay put leadoff, like freshman at leadoff before, whether it's Paxton Kling, Dylan Cruz. Like, he's put that pressure on you to be able to, like, all right, if you're swinging it like this, let's see it. And it just feels like the way that he was swinging it is like maybe keep him comfortable in where he was. But I'm just asking the question because it feels like in a situation like this where this is the, like, big league field, biggest game of the year by, like, so far, best competition, and it's, all right, young buck, like, go bat leadoff and start us off. Like, that's hard to kind of put in the, like, you can't just put that in the same box as every other game. Like, he's going to feel something different.
Yeah. I don't think that's a risk. I think that,
like, comfortability-wise. Like,
yeah,
I'm
think
sure he can hit leadoff.
It feels, and I don't know the guy personally. I've never talked to him. I would like to talk to him. I'd like to have him on the show.
Confident.
It feels like he's very poised. At least he outwardly shows that he's poised.
Everything they've said about him is
right?
like he's an impossible at bat. Like, every pitcher is like, he's so hard to get out because every at bat he has, it feels like I'm throwing to a professional hitter.
Yeah, and so I think Jay's seen that long enough, and I think he's done enough early on to say, okay, hey, let's try your hand at the leadoff spot, right? And let's see how you go. Jay?
Yeah, I'd add to that. Yeah, I would add to that, and I'd say, like, make no mistake about it, Jay's not putting him lead off and or at the top of the lineup where he's basically hit him every game that he's played so far, out of just rolling the dice and saying, I hope I get something out of him. He's obviously showed him something through the fall, through the spring, against a very good pitching staff in their own, right? Saying that he can handle this kind of pitching, he can handle this kind of competition, and somebody with control of the bat the way he does, especially hitting in front of somebody like Jared Jones, I like that combination. So I think that alone, mixed with Jay's been knowing and recruiting this kid since 7th grade. I think he knows him as a person pretty well, right?
Yep.
And it seems like he has full confidence in him that he can handle the situations, whether it's Kansas State, Jackson State, Alabama State, or like South Carolina. It doesn't really matter who he's playing. He feels that he's going to get a very calm, cool, and collected, but ready to go and prepared Derek Curiel. And I think that that's all culminated into what he's basically shown and where he's throwing him in the lineup every game.
Let me ask you this. And Bryce did make a good point, like with the rotation. They haven't come out with the rotation for the weekend. We're assuming it's going to be the same as it was the last 2 weekends, right? Like, do you think that there's, Aenson in the middle of those two guys kind of breaks up? Yes?
Go ahead.
Okay.
I was just raising for after you.
Okay. Aenson, obviously, you have Kate Anderson, who's got elite stuff as a lefty on Friday. You have Chase Shores, who's got obviously elite stuff, and then you got Aenson, who's a really good pitcher, pitching Saturday. Do you think that they maybe eventually flip Chase Shores and Aenson, maybe as soon as this weekend? Come on in, Dougie. You can shut the door.
I wouldn't be surprised if he toyed with it this weekend.
What's up?
But then I also wouldn't be surprised if he did it, period, because, like, I can see a world, let's just say, because we've seen what Friday night starters in the SEC has been, right? And let's just say in not a non-perfect world, right? Let's just say you get a Cade Anderson that goes out there and that's super competitive every Friday night and keeps you in games.
Right.
But for some reason, they're not winning these games. Maybe he does go with, I need somebody with a little more dominant stuff on Saturday that give me a chance to get ahead and play ahead. And then I can use the pitchable guy on Sunday. So maybe he's like, look, let me flip this around this weekend so I can see what it looks like and how it plays. And maybe that's what he goes back to later in the year.
Right.
I don't know, but yeah, I can see it.
And
I can see that possibility.
And since the doubleheader last week, it's still on the same amount of rest as he would have had. Now, the perfect person to ask this question too, would be to a pitcher. And we have one.
We got to bring Doug into
Yeah, we have one in here.
Too.
Dougie.
What's up? I didn't hear the question.
No.
Okay.
Welcome back to the show.
I'm glad to be here.
I appreciate you always being so available to us.
Well, my kid's being at Traction for 95% of the. Yeah, it's right around the corner.
Yeah.
So it worked out well. I'm glad it worked out.
I appreciate that. The question that I had posed as you were walking in was the pitching staff, the pitching staff in general, but the starters have been really good.
Mm-hmm.
Cade Anderson's obviously got elite stuff as a Friday night guy. He's shown that he throws 4 pitches now. Last year he had 2, now he's got 4. Right? He's consistently thrown 4. Agenson has done everything you've asked him to do on that Saturday spot. But Chase Shores, out of all 3 of those guys, probably has the most definitely the most electric fastball. Right? He's pitching on Sunday. Do you think that there's a time where Jay flips Agenson and Shores and says it's Anderson, Shores, and Agenson, or do you like the Agenson in the middle of both guys?
I think that the odds of the Friday, Saturday, Sunday starter running, gate to gate is unlikely.
Yeah.
Like in that order, they may all still end up in the rotation. I don't know. I think if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
One. So until there's reason for it. But I think you would also kind of maybe use it as matchups. Now, sometimes the other coach will tell you who's pitching on the weekend. Sometimes they button it up. So maybe you could shift them around a little bit to have Anderson pitch against, a more favorite. I don't know really, but I would think that everybody's going to stay where they are until they do something to warrant being moved. But I wouldn't sleep on some of those guys, 4, 5, 6 to end up in the starting rotation.
Yeah. William Schmidt looked great. His first time starting, he obviously got through the first. They came out attacking early, and he responded.
For sure.
And he gave up a couple. I think it was a walk and then a hit, and then responded. As a freshman, that's what you want to see.
A lot of people say Connor Ware is.
Well, he's starting tonight.
I know. Like a as complete a pitcher as that's on that staff.
Which is what I'm looking forward to watching, because you watch him throw a little bit. He's only thrown 3 innings.
Mm-hmm.
DBU is a top 20 team in the country. They're basically playing. They're playing at home, basically. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of what they do, how he does, and how they kind of piece it together.
Yeah, and does the moment of the big ballpark, the big venue, too much for him? But what an experience for those guys, man, getting to play in the big league parks.
Have you been in the new Globe Life?
I have not.
It is awesome. I went to a World Series game there a couple of years ago. Awesome.
Yeah, I've heard it's one of the best. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I love ballpark at Arlington now.
I'm surprised y'all aren't there.
Jared's going to be there this weekend.
Oh, he is?
Jared's
good.
He's a Texan now.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He's a Texan.
That's right.
So
I played in Frisco in the minor leagues. Nice park. It's a really nice park, actually.
It's a great place. It's a great
place. I played one series in that park. Nice park.
Oh, it's a great
hot as shit, but nice park.
It is a nice park. Very hot. Very hot. The bullpen's in the I don't know if it's still there, but the bullpen was literally in the bleachers. Like, they had literally in the middle of the right field bleachers. That was interesting, of course. But
I'm trying to get this game on. I spent the $12.99 to get the baseball game on.
Oh, that's weird. I'm watching it over here.
Are you?
Doug, I got a question for you, because I don't want to get too far away from where we were, because I do think something like this is very interesting to watch. You brought up the point where you don't think that you wouldn't be a betting man and say that what we see right now as the Friday, Saturday, Sunday starter is likely to be that all year. And that's not just for this team. Like, that's kind of for every team across the country. It's hard to kind of figure that out year to year.
Yeah,
so my question to you would
When's
be,
the last time LSU had?
We also know,
like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday that was the same at the end. Lang, Poche, and who was the third? Like, when's the last time that's ever happened? Is kind of what I'm getting at. Like, the odds are pretty low.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, so this isn't any knock on anybody on the staff right now. But my next question would be to you, because being with your pitching background, I'm thinking to myself now, I'm like, well, we all know how starting pitchers work on schedules. So if we get too far into these guys being on this schedule where these 3 guys have thrown on these dates, at what, do you think the next move would be a Connor Ware or a William Schmidt or someone who's not a weekend starter right now, move into that role and one moves out? Or do you think the more likely thing is that those guys get shuffled around that are in the rotation right now?
It just depends. Like, I think there's an indicator there when we see William Schmidt throwing 2 and 3 inning stints. I mean, I think they're trying to get his pitch count to higher with each outing. And the only reason they would be willing or wanting to do that would be because they may consider him to be a starter at some point in the season. So I really don't think anything's going to change with the weekend again, unless somebody like starts to struggle, or of course, God forbid, there's an injury or some soreness. But I do think that regardless of what happens, in the past 10 years, there's never been a team where I was less concerned about losing one of the starters.
Right.
So there's always this dude, if we lose Skeens, oh my God, if we lose this guy. But this year, again, it usually happens, but hopefully it doesn't this year. But if we did lose a guy, dude, there's some guys.
Yeah, guys.
There's some guys to fill in there and not feel like we're going to Johnny Holstaff Sundays and hope for the best with the matchup playing, right? So, I mean, from that perspective, like, I think what we're talking about, like the shuffle or the weekend rotation changing, is probably like the lowest thing to be concerned with, because it doesn't – I'm not saying it doesn't matter. Those 3 guys are horses. But there's some horses that could go in there and step right in, and you'd still be seeing 96 to 98 with a curveball, slider, and a changeup, right? So
let me ask
just
you,
very unusual in that.
Let me ask you this: you brought up, hey, you're playing in a big venue, lights are brighter. You know, are they going to be able to step up and do the things they need to do over a weekend, especially with competition ramping up? What as you this game's starting right now? Obviously, LSU is the visiting team. As you watch them go this weekend, what do you want to see, right? Because it's been outside of the one game against Omaha where they had the that one inning where they gave up 5 runs and it was kind of a weird deal. They haven't really had a lot of trouble innings, or they had a get me out of trouble situations, right? It's inevitable. It's going to happen at some point over these next 4 games. What do you want to see from the staff throughout the course of this weekend?
Oh, the pitching staff?
Yeah.
I
guess offensively too.
I'd like to see that the numbers that we've seen aren't inflated because of the talent we've played. Like, I'd like to see big strikeout numbers and low walks to prove, like, to put this, all right, we've got some dudes, but I'm not even concerned that happens. But offensively,
right,
I like to see some runs, because like, they're going to see 3 aces this weekend, right? Like, it's not one of those tournaments where you would kind of maybe hold a guy because Texas is here too, or A&M's here too. Like, LSU's kind of the one with the target. Kansas State.
Yeah, they just beat Arkansas.
Kansas State's got a squad, obviously. Who else is there?
Nebraska on Saturday. They probably got 1 or 2 guys, maybe.
Let's face it, when Tommy Frazier left Nebraska, it all went to hell.
And then you got Sam Houston.
Right, so I guarantee you all 3 of those schools have a salty guy on the front end of that staff, and that's what's going to be interesting. Like, this little tour, we're going to see, like, the real arms. Or maybe not even SEC, but, like, real arms, like 93 plus. And
draft guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Portal guys, right? Like, it's going to be, like, let's see what this guy is.
Well, and that's the other conversation is the lineup got shuffled up. Jared Jones hitting 2-hole today.
Oh, really?
Oh, you haven't seen the lineup? That's right.
I haven't. I've been at traction.
Here you go.
The 7U Canes Reds lineup. I got that for you.
Yeah, look, you're repping the Canes right there. I like that.
Literally just got
Curiel's leading off.
Okay.
Jared Jones hitting 2-hole. Larson DHing hitting 3.
Curiel.
No, it's Curiel.
It's Cure now?
It's
we went to the source.
Jay Johnson told us.
I know Jay says Curiel, but Bill Frank has said it's Cur, like Cur dog.
Curiel.
There was a hint of.
We went through this.
I was confused when Jay said that.
I know.
He said
the reason I brought it up on your show is because remember I told you Jay's one of the ones that was going Curiel, and after the first game I went into Bill's booth. Bill, what is it? Because the pronunciation guys has capital C, capital U, capital R.
Cur.
That should be Cur.
I-E-L.
E-L.
Yes.
Curiel.
He said it was Curiel.
That's what it is.
It could be Curiel.
It's Curiel.
It's Curiel.
I'm saying it's not Curiel.
No. Oh, no. It's Curiel.
That's what you said.
I said
have to run the
Curiel.
tape back. We'll run the tape back.
Yeah, we got
I thought I said Curiel. Okay. Curiel.
Okay, Curiel Jones.
Larson, DH hitting 3-hole.
Okay.
Dickinson hitting 4.
Okay.
Milam hitting 5. Hernandez hitting 6. Brown hitting 7. Braswell 8. Stanfield 9.
It's on the screen if you need it.
I don't hate that at all.
Here.
Oh, here we go.
Well, there's a big debate between who should be. The boys got into it. If you want to rehash what your talking points were.
Yeah, please. I don't tell me who was
Look, this is what you're doing. Curiel, walk. Lead off walk.
That's why you do it. By the way, doesn't the judge hit 2-hole for the Yankees?
Well, and that it wasn't the I love Jared Jones in the 2-hole. I have no problem with that. That wasn't the argument.
What was the argument?
The argument going in
who's on what side?
The argument going into the season. Jared said at the beginning of the season, you'd be lying.
He doesn't listen. Dude.
He doesn't listen.
What'd you say?
Because
I said, don't tell me who's on what side.
Oh, my bad. So the question was, you'd be lying if you thought Dickinson and Milam would be in the middle of the lineup. I said going into the season would expected Dickinson to be in the lineup. Milam I agreed with. Milam hitting 5-hole. I was shocked when Milam was at the bottom of the lineup.
I was a little, but
You know?
I think he was slow at the end of the fall.
Right. But I thought they'd put him at the top of the lineup and they would figure it out. But now he's hitting 5-hole. That I didn't expect. Right. But then again, nobody else outside of really, Dickinson has 12 RBIs. Outside of Dickinson has shown that they can really protect Jared Jones. I don't know how I feel about Larson hitting right behind Jared, though.
Who would you rather?
Dickinson.
Oh, Dickinson in 3-hole.
Just wherever Jones is hitting, Dickinson behind him.
For me, it would be something like Curiel, Milam, Jones.
I don't mind that either.
Something like that.
Yeah, I don't mind because Milam gives you the
Just think
switch
about
hitter.
who I wouldn't want to face to start the game in the first inning. Curiel, Milam, Jones, and I guess Dickinson.
Yeah, would be 4 probably.
I guess.
It's
like I
who
think
else?
one of
Who
our
else?
issues this year is that we don't have the quintessential 3, 4, 5 guys.
Right.
Unless Big John Peterson gets off the bench and stands in there. But we don't have 3, 4, 5. Just generally speaking, are usually 3 big human beings.
Right.
That can hit the ball in the ballpark.
Right.
And the first 2 get on base a lot, and the others can swing it a little bit. But I don't think we the only one that we have that looks it and
Jared Jones.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, and then look, Hernandez is a big question. Hernandez had a few doubles. If he kind of
Coach,
gets high,
I want him to hit some.
Doesn't he
balls.
look so hitterish
he does,
at the
dude.
plate?
He really does, man. If he can run 15, 20 balls out of here, now we're cooking.
It's a completely different lineup.
Exactly.
It's a completely different
Because he's sitting
lineup.
4 or 5 or whatever, right?
Yeah, Jared Jones
what's this
full
guy
count.
pumping right now? What's the?
I hadn't seen the velo yet. Jared Jones full count.
What is this? A jumbo sport?
Oh!
Oh my goodness!
That ball's crushed.
That ball is smoked.
Score.
Get on your horse,
He
young
better
fella.
score.
Hey! Got him in there.
That's why you double mitt.
Hey, that ball. Are you watching it, Jared?
He's double
Double
mitted.
mitter.
No, I don't have it on.
He's a double
I
mitter.
know double mitter's confusing to me.
I don't know
He
if
hit
I
a
can
ball. It was a little like it was a nice little 2-iron stinger in the left center field gap. One hopped the wall.
This ball was waffled.
I mean, a
Who
lot.
did?
Jared Jones.
In the 2-hole.
Curiel walk. Jared Jones double to
No.
start the game.
Yeah,
RBI
so
single.
Doug, you missed it earlier. I
He's
have
not-
zero
yeah.
problems with Jared Jones hitting the 2-hole,
Right.
zero at all. But the last thing I want though is this. So there's a couple of things I mentioned earlier. I was right now what we know of, and until we see truly see different, because I think anybody that's watching Curiel hit right now, you're not exactly he's about to be in the gaps and be on second base right now after one swing.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, it's all right, if that's the case, and you have Larson behind him, who, as of right now, not saying what I see him, because I think with the weight that he's put on, with another year in the lineup, with the summer in the Cape, there is a chance that he can grow into a guy that's going to drive the ball a lot more. So I do think that that's there.
The guy. I agree with you, but he just tried to lay down a bunt down the third baseline in the 3-hole. I literally, as you were talking, it was a beaut too. It just trickled off the chalk. I mean, it was a beaut. But as you're dude, I think this guy can hit it off the wall. He's laying down a drag bunt down the third baseline.
No, I guess where I said, Doug, what I basically said was, there's no way you telling me before Valentine's Day that you had it on your bingo card that 3 through 6 would be what we saw today?
No chance.
No, and look,
That's all. That's literally all I've said the whole day.
No doubt.
That's
and listen,
all I've said.
I was only talking about. I was specific to Dickinson. I will give you that. But yes, having Larson 3-hole and Milam 5-hole, I did not expect that. I really thought Milam was gonna be 1 or 2. I really did.
I think he will.
You think eventually?
Before it's over, yeah.
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 He feels like he's kind of getting hot again.
Oh, for sure, bro. He's got some swag. He hit the home run the other night.
5 RBIs.
5 RBI.
Here we go. So Larson punchies on a little slider underneath the hands.
He's been missing that pitch.
Well, that was a ball. You shouldn't swing at that. I mean, that wasn't a strike.
And he had to bunt the first one.
Yeah. I'm just saying, he's been swinging over that pitch for, it seems like 8 swings in a row now.
But this is, I know not a lot of people aren't sold on this guy yet, but I think he's going to be able to hit. I think he's going to swing it.
Dickinson?
Yeah.
I think he's made a pretty good name for himself batting 440.
330.
Oh, yeah.
I think these numbers are wrong, by the way.
Are they?
Because LSU
Pull it up.
LSU stats say that he has 12 RBIs. They said 11. The averages don't really match up to what the
He had 11 going into Monday night. I'm trying to think if he had an RBI.
He did.
He got hit twice Monday night.
And he had a base hit
down the left field line.
Left field line.
He lives over there.
Curiel's hitting 414. They have him hitting 440. Jared Jones hitting 400. Dickinson's hitting
before
348. This
440 was the average Monday night, so they got the Monday night stats.
Yeah, you're right.
The Monday night games. Yeah,
Flow Sports they don't have the update.
No.
You know,
that's what your $12.99 gets you.
Yeah, Flow Sports also doesn't have the velo on the thing either.
Right.
Don't love that.
Don't
love that.
Yeah, well.
What?
I'm just gonna, it's what maybe next year.
Are you on? Is it on?
It is. If you know, you know.
Cageonomics?
No.
I mean, never mind.
Come with the king, you best not miss.
Wait, there's another one?
Cageonomics?
It's him.
Oh, it's the same guy. He can't get rid of him.
They'll never get. I don't even know who it is. I don't think anybody does.
But it's the greatest.
Nobody does.
He's like
the
the
best.
Bitcoin
He's
guy.
like Walter White.
And then he has these weird commercials.
He makes those too.
The 84 World's Fair.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It's so legit.
The Full House.
Like, will we ever know who he is?
He's in the chat.
Just one day he'll die.
He comes in our show.
And Cageonomics won't be there anymore.
Yeah, he's in the chat.
Oh wait.
In the chat.
Oh really?
Yeah, I mean.
But as Cageonomics, not like Andy Smith.
Yeah, he doesn't
like we'll never know his name.
No.
Yeah, as Cageonomics.
Could be me.
This would be a big moment for Milam right here, honestly. First inning, runner in scoring position.
That's tough.
Guy on 2 outs.
I'd
driving
like to see
him
the velo here of this cat.
It seems like he's throwing a lot of change-ups. It looks like he's a let's move the ball around guy. That's what it feels like. Sliders, change-ups, 2-seamers.
Like, I can't get some velo on the screen.
You see how it's just kind of like...
Yeah, but you can't try to pull the outside pitch, Mikey.
Yeah.
You got to hit that to left field.
You got to shoot it the other way. Shooter McGavin it.
All right, 1-0. Tigers score 1.
1-0, 1 hit. 1 run on 1 hit.
It looked like
one left on.
Holy circle.
Curiel and Jones are right
out.
where they should have been.
Right where they should have been. Look, good thing they put him in the 2-hole at the double, huh? Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, look.
I don't know why we're arguing about the guy that leads the team in stolen bases batting second.
Bro, did y'all hear the other day?
He leads the team in stolen bases?
So he had a stolen base attempt, and there was a foul ball. And, of course, it was Buzzy and I. I was like, the big guy off with the pitch, and he had to go back. And I said, he's 1 for 1 on the year. And Buzzy said, I'm willing to bet that'll be his last stolen base attempt of the year. And, I mean, literally as the word year came out of his mouth, Jones is off again. Not only was he off again, he was safe. And then his next time up, he stole again to go 3 for 3 on the year. And I'm like, Buzzy, how many stolen bases did you have at LSU? 4 for 4, the buzzard was.
Buzz was 4 for 4
in his career at LSU. But Jared Jones is 6 for 6.
Wow.
In the last few. He's not fast, but he's not slow.
Jared Jones is like a Paul Goldschmidt.
He's not slow, bro.
Paul Goldschmidt, big dude. Go look at his numbers. Paul Goldschmidt steals 20 bags.
Really?
A year. Well, maybe not.
Multiple times, yeah.
Maybe
Sneaky
not as
fast.
much anymore because he's 36.
Multiple times, yeah.
But he's, sneaky fast.
Jared Jones swiped, No, he looks good.
3 for 3.
3 for 3. Leading the team.
Listen.
And stolen, not only in stolen bases, but in stolen base attempts.
Yeah, which we thought they were going to run more.
Where was the money on that? That
Right.
Jared Jones, after 8 games, would lead the team in stolen bases and attempts. Nope. Speaking of the bingo card.
Yeah, that's wild. I didn't know that.
Nobody had that one.
This Connor Ware start's interesting to me because I think that if he has a good one, now the conversation starts to ramp up a little bit more about. But I don't know. I mean, does he want 2 lefties in line? Like that could be a matchup thing.
For sure.
Right? Hey, we're facing a team with a ton of lefties, which I didn't realize how many lefties LSU actually has on their team.
It's
ridiculous.
It's
not even pitching. I'm talking about hitting.
His thing is like finally. He's got a bunch of pitchers, a bunch of left-handed
hitters. Crazy.
Yeah,
it's wild.
And a bunch of speed.
Bunch of speed.
Bunch of speed.
3 innings pitched, 2 strikeouts, 1 walk.
1 walk.
Okay.
Retired 9 of 10 batters faced. It's pretty good. No hits.
This is my first time getting eyes on him, so I'm interested to see what this looks like.
You put it on?
Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Cagenomics to the rescue, baby. Hey, he's got some. He's got the pitcher shoulders, like the
Connor Ware,
the wide like.
He's like Nolan Kane.
Look at him. It looks like a close hanger.
He looks like Nolan.
Yeah. Remember, God, I forget his name. Jake McGee.
Watch out.
Remember Jake McGee in the big leagues? He was like he pitched in Tampa. He was my teammate in Tampa. He was like 6'4", 6'5", tall, skinny lefty, threw like 98. It was like he had that before they really measured.
Knew what that was, yeah.
But you could see him from a mile away because his shoulders. It was like he had a clothes hanger in his shirt,
like SpongeBob.
It was just like pointing up, like his shoulders were like pointing up, but like way wide. It was weird, dude. He kind of has that same look. Look at him.
He does.
He's 3-0. Not great, but come right back at him. I would love to get the velo. That would be nice.
He kind of, like, not so much body style, but he kind of looks like Poche on the mound a little
Tiger
bit.
Vision?
A little bit of Poche. A little bit of Poche. I think he's a little taller than Poche, maybe.
What number was
Yeah, that's what I said. Not necessarily physically built like that, but like his demeanor.
Is my guess. Jared Poche is number 16.
16, that sounds right.
That sounds right.
Pretty sure.
That
I hope he
sounds
doesn't
right.
have first innings like Poche. That was
he went 3-0, and then he went
Lloyd.
fastball.
The toughest for a starting pitcher.
It is.
That is.
You ever heard of the inevitable 2?
No.
You don't know what that is? Coach Bertman always used to say that you got to avoid the inevitable 2 in the first inning, that it's inevitable that you're going to give up 2 runs in the first inning because of these factors. 1, the hitter is much more locked in and focused than he'll be the rest of the game. Mm-hmm. 2, the umpire doesn't quite know what you've got yet, like hasn't seen you yet, getting comfortable himself behind the plate. And 3, most of the time, as a starting pitcher, you don't always have both or all 3 of your pitches yet. Like you're still trying to figure out one. So those factors make the first inning the toughest. So you see, like LSU every year, their defense, the innings they give up the most runs, just like all teams, are the first and fifth inning, or most of the time.
That's an interesting point. That actually makes a ton of sense. Obviously, most things that he says make a ton of sense.
And when we give up 2 runs, he would say, "All right, look, they got the inevitable 2." Like,
right.
Could have been positive spin on
told
Well,
you.
that's why you see a bunch of teams give up 4 or 5 runs in the first, and then after that, it's zeros the rest of the way.
Those are the 3 factors.
And fourth is belief in your
pitchers
maker.
are the least, the most focused because they're the least tired. Of course, they're as locked in as they're going to be. The umpire doesn't quite feel it yet. Neither does the pitcher.
See, I was opposite as a hitter. I didn't like the first.
Really?
I got more comfortable as the game went on. I don't know if that's why I'm sitting here today.
Might be. Because the first is where they're making the most mistakes, right? They're leaving the most balls over the plate.
That could be why I'm sitting here.
It might
today.
be, Mikey.
Yeah.
We should have had this talk
about
6 years ago. 5,
I was literally listening. I'm like, well, I'd love to hear this one. I want to know why.
I don't know. I just like I like to feel. I like to get comfortable with the pitcher and how he's trying to attack me. I don't know. Now, if I've seen the guy a lot of times, it was different.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The other thing I would add to that is the pitcher's mound. Like you've got to get it broken in.
Yeah, and visuals.
And pitchers
too.
are nuts about the holes in front of the mound.
People don't realize like how different mounds are from stadium to stadium, right?
Like even it's all the same, 66 inches, but like the backdrop makes some parks look like the plate is 90 feet away, and then some places it looks like it's like, oh my God, I'm right on top of these guys. But all of them are different.
Yeah,
all of them are different.
You crack that joke. We always used to crack this joke as like hitters. It's like hitters go stand on the mound and we're like, oh my God, how do I not hit everything they throw? Look how far this is.
Yeah.
And then you get to the plate, you go back and you walk back to the plate and you're like, Coach, you're on top of me. Like, I think they need to back the mound up a little bit.
So it always looks further than it is to a hitter?
Kind of where punch out in the
Yeah. No, it always looks closer than what it is to a hitter.
I got you. When you're up to bat. Got you.
And you talk about the mound. The pitchers are weird about the mound. Now, a disadvantage, now, usually this happened in the minor leagues, but as the game went on, that hole where everybody's digging their foot in the box, awful. Because if you don't get if you're in the minor leagues and it's not a great field, by the time you get to the 7th, 8th
Dixie
inning,
League ball.
like
You're trying to
Tom Blue.
Yeah, like what am I supposed to do?
Can I get a minute or two?
It's a crater.
You're standing where the catcher's supposed to be sitting at. You're like, you know what? I'm back here with you, bro.
I'll give you a funny, good story from the 1997 National Championship game. Kind of relates to this while we're at commercial here. When I came in the game, it was the 5th inning with the bases loaded. And the first pitch I threw almost busted my ass. Like my cleat slipped out of the hole because both of the pitchers that were on the mound before me were like 3 inches taller. So like
longer strides.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I literally almost fell down. Skip was like, ooh, what's going on? I was like, Coach, like this hole is crazy.
Yeah.
And he's like, I said, can we fix it? And he was like, I don't know. And I was like, well, what do I do? It's in front of 25,000 people and whoever's watching on TV, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, what do I do? He's like, I don't know. Let's call the guy, the ground. So we literally, middle of the game, bro, grounds crew on the field, tamped it, fixed it.
Hey, they do that now.
As if it was the first inning.
You're the trendsetter.
I might have been the first guy to ever do that.
First guy ever do that.
Skip was on the mound saying, see, I've never seen this before. And I was literally throwing with like the infielders while we're waiting for these guys to tamp them.
Literally,
like they came
wind up and the shortstop was sitting down.
like CBS went to break. We'll be back, tell you about this. And they came back and I hadn't even started warming up yet. And they were like, the guys were on the mound sprinkling the water on it. Yeah, literally during the middle of the game.
Skip probably loved that Run 2 commercial.
Hey, shows you where you were in the pecking order at that point in your career, because if it was somebody that like just trying to close the game
just
out,
throw strikes.
Hey, figure it out. You know?
Well, first off, Skip bringing him out in the 5th inning with the bases loaded lets you know exactly where it was in the pecking order.
That's true, I guess.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
That's true.
Now go put out this fire for me. I need it right now.
And to his credit, he said, "No, we're going to figure this out."
And he did.
Hey, this.
And how'd you do?
What do you mean, the 5th inning?
Yeah,
did okay. Got out of it. Got out of it. Yeah.
As long as you got out of it.
Yeah, we got out of it.
Jay, I know you said you had a hard out at 7:30.
Yeah.
So if you got to bounce, dude, I mean, unless you want to do the segments, and then we can get back to the game. Do you have a curtain call?
Do you want to do the segment?
Yeah, let's do the segments and we'll get back to the game.
I think I have one, yes.
All right, Lloyd, do your mistake of the day.
I kind of went over it at the beginning.
Oh, yeah, you already did it. You already did it. I'll give you my curtain call. Master P is now.
If I knew him last night, Dad, have you ever heard of Master P? I was like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Master P now the director of basketball operations for UNO.
I thought you were going to say LSU for a minute.
UNO.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Are you positive, or it's a guy like with the same name?
Oh no,
as Master P.
Master P is the director of basketball operations for the UNO Privateers.
The next mid-major product. Master P has been named president of basketball operations at the University of New Orleans.
Wow.
Crazy. New Orleans, UNO trying to do everything they can to keep that program alive.
You think he and Blake Dean are dogs?
Blake's not there anymore, Coach.
He's not?
Yeah, he left. Now he's in the private sector. Got a different job.
Literally breaking news right now.
The rumor is that the UNO the UNO school in general is not financially in a good spot. And so the rumor, not from Blake, but just from what I've heard, is that there's a chance that they're gonna have no sports.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Breaking news.
Yep, not there anymore. I don't know. Now I don't know what he's doing, but he's not coaching there anymore.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Jay, you got one curtain call?
Yeah, I got one. Now, it's only one outing. We don't know much about it, but I bring this up because I think we talked about it a lot going into that season. We brought it up when all of the other injuries started to happen. As Jake Brown hits a double here, we brought it up a little bit as like all the injuries started to happen as well. But the name we brought up that people really never got a chance to see it in purple and gold in the fall. I mean, in the spring.
Oh yeah, good call.
Grant Taylor, right now in spring training in his first outing, topping out at 101, averaging 99.5 right now. Guy's averaging 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
Can I say this?
We sat there and said, hey, one of their best pitchers, maybe if not their best pitcher, and obviously we didn't know what we were seeing out of Paul Skeens at the time. We're like, he's out already for the year. And then obviously you had Chase Shores who left that year. There was and Jaden Newt was no longer there that year. So when people were like, oh my God, it's literally just Paul Skeens and nobody else. Well, yeah, when you have guys like that who all got hurt and couldn't play that year, it factored in big.
Bro.
So my curtain calls to him being healthy, back out there again, doing his thing. I hope he stays healthy because that's a great kid, great family, and we heard a lot about him going into that year, and it was so unfortunate that he wasn't able to participate that year.
Didn't he pitch, though, at Southern Miss in that regional? Wasn't that Grant Taylor? Who was that our closer then? Kid threw hard, too. How do I not remember that? It was only 2 or 3 years ago.
Well, Grant Taylor.
You sure?
Grant Taylor pitched.
Yeah, no, he was out.
No, I know, but wasn't that his freshman year?
So that probably was his freshman year. Yeah, I think you're right.
It was like the closer.
I'm talking about
he pitched as a freshman.
He pitched
I'm
as a
talking
freshman.
about the year he won it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Next year he got hurt. Yep.
You're talking about the next year when he was a draft eligible sophomore, got hurt, and then got drafted first round.
Because that's where it did this at. Yeah.
Somebody told
all
me.
the reports was that he went to the Cape that summer and was probably the best pitcher in the Cape.
Yep.
And then got hurt literally like the week before the season started. Yeah.
Somebody told me it was 103 that he that he topped out at 103 this week at the box. Now, who told me that? I'm gonna have to really think about that. Maybe it was.
Well, I'll tell you this: it doesn't surprise
Ronnie.
me.
It was Ronnie. So
maybe
so it was Ronnie.
Yeah.
So it's probably 101. It was probably 101.
101.3 maybe.
Yeah. And I saw this too, that the kid that was at Tennessee, the second baseman, the really good player.
Oh yeah, he's about to be in the big leagues.
Might break camp.
Yeah, he's good. What's his name?
This is year one, right?
Christian Moore.
I always want to say Christian Little.
Christian Moore,
but it's not. It's Christian Moore.
He got drafted, played last year, which I love now. I love that they draft you and the deadline's like right away. You sign and you go and you play because now you're getting a half a year in minor league ball, and you just expedite
They
it.
didn't do that with you?
Our deadline was August 15th.
Oh, I went from basically Omaha to Portland, Oregon.
Dude, well, some guys did it, but like the negotiation, there was no hard.
There was no negotiation. That's what we're missing. That's what we're missing. The negotiation part.
So
that was pretty easy for everyone.
Yeah. So we negotiated up until the August 15th. And at that point, there's only 2 weeks left. Yeah. But now it's July 15th is the deadline, but the draft is June. After. So it's like you only have 2.5 weeks or something
to get the deal done.
To get the deal done. Which I like.
The kids get to play.
Christian Moore balled out.
Who's going to be the first pick in the draft this year?
A Holiday.
That's what I think it is.
Yeah.
Ethan.
He's a baller.
Big.
Yeah. Listen.
Like I asked
genetics
our
are
teammates,
genetics
and I
are good.
said, dude, does he have more? Who has more juice, him or Jackson? And he said, that's not even close.
Who'd you ask?
Ethan.
Matt.
Oh.
Well, we were teammates.
Yeah.
And recently I actually saw them all. And, Ethan has more juice than first round.
Hey, Doug, it's funny you bring up Matt because Matt's like one of those dudes that I really don't think people realize, like, in his career, you always like, hey, man, I wish I could hit like this dude. Or why does this dude make it look so easy? And then you stand next to Matt Holliday and you're like, hey, I get it.
That bat's a little lighter for him.
Matt Holliday was one of the guys that, like, you stand next to and you watch and you got to question yourself, like, man, why am I staring at this guy so much? Like, because he's that, like, John Carlos Stanton, one of them. You look at him like, all right, I feel kind of weird. I'm staring at
I get it.
A dude for that long, but like, damn, this guy's enormous. Same with Matt Holliday was one of those guys.
We were the same draft class, and we happened to – he played 6 years of minor league ball. Like, he was a third baseman to start it off and moved to left field quickly. But Tom Holliday was I ended up living with them, so there was a couple high school kids and me, and if the bills were going to get paid, I was going to have to be the one to do it, which we were really in trouble, honestly. But Matt, he's that guy that when you see college kids hit and people are like, dude, you don't understand, this guy's got so much juice. that when you see him, you're like, yeah, he's got juice.
Yeah.
But you don't understand when these big people at 6'5", 250 at 4% body fat can swing the bat and hit balls too. And bro, these guys hit balls 500 feet and batting practice every day. You know what I mean? So he's the first guy I ever played with wow. You know,
it's a little different.
Oh wow. You know, yeah.
I get it.
By the way, he was also the number 2 ranked high school quarterback.
I heard that. Yeah,
coming out of the draft.
I heard that. Jay, I know you gotta get on the road, dude. He's heading to Dallas. He's gonna be boots on the ground. For us.
Nice.
Yeah. Appreciate you.
Nice. Gonna go check it out. So
have a safe drive.
Definitely, fellas.
All right, dude.
We'll be back later this week. I'll let you guys know what I see.
Tomorrow, probably. We're gonna let everybody know, but probably tomorrow because you you'd be at the game. The game's at 2:00 on Friday.
2 o'clock, 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock Friday, Saturday, right?
Yep. All right, dude. Be safe.
Be safe, Jay.
All right, fellas. See y'all.
Later,
bro.
How long y'all go here? 8 o'clock?
Yeah, 8, sometimes 7:30, 8. We can get out whenever you're ready.
Oh, I'm ready when y'all are.
Yeah, I was just.
How long's
I didn't want to
Lloyd
just
stay here?
abruptly end
Till midnight? Working?
They let me.
He's
Grinding?
Yeah.
This is his.
I've got the Starlink on the car right now.
He didn't see it, so
Oh,
maybe that's a
there we
good
go,
sign. Maybe it
yeah.
just kind of blends in, but we got wires everywhere out there.
Oh, I did not notice.
So Starlink, bought it. Great. Just set it up for the first. Had it for 3 months. Just set it up for the first time now, and it's great. Now we gotta get it hooked up
All
to
the way
everything
automated.
else.
Opening ceremony or the first pitch banquet. We're not going to go.
Oh no,
to
first pitch banquet we could have used it, but the problem
where
is
guests show up and just stand there while we can't get online.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, but the problem is it's got to have
technical difficulties.
nice line of sight to the sky. So that's the issue. So it's when you do stuff indoors like that.
Yeah,
that's the issue.
Unless you run the wires all the way.
That's what we're doing right now.
That's what we're doing right now.
But we did the
Can't
speed
do that
test.
up at the Crown
Can't
Plaza.
do that up at the Crown Plaza.
Yeah, we did a little speed test for the Starlink, and before Starlink 70, after Starlink 130. I don't know what those numbers mean, but that's fast.
It sounds like fast.
Yeah,
Sounds
it's
double.
good. Yeah, double is good.
Broswell to Stanfield.
Yeah, for sure.
Before we sign off, to reiterate what you're talking about the offense. They had start the game off with a walk, a double, and then no outs, guy on second base, doesn't get him to third base, don't get him in.
3
Not
outs.
great.
3 up, 3 down.
3 up, 3 down after that. The next inning, double. Then you get a ground ball to the pitcher, base running mistake, run, gets the out at third base. So fielder's choice, and then gets out the inning.
So you're a base running guy, right? I have noticed
freshman year was not great at it, but yes.
Well, much more aggression this year.
Yes.
On the base pass, and I think we're going to see some of that.
We need to.
I think we're going to run out of some innings, taking some risks.
Stanford going from second to home.
But I think we have to.
Right.
I
think the risks. Great play.
There's your boy.
I think the risks. I'm okay with the risk as long as you're doing it smartly, running into outs because you're just not understanding. Hey, I got to freeze on a line drive. To me, that's not aggression. That's bad base running.
Yeah.
Right. Being aggressive, like what Currio did on the dirt ball read against Omaha. I love that. That's aggressiveness. That's hey, this is
even if he was out.
Even if he was out.
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, if there was a time to get to third base,
it was then.
It was then.
Yeah.
Right. And if we want to have the aggressive mindset, those are the plays that you do.
Right.
Right. And that's what I can live and die with that.
You can definitely tell they've made a commitment internally to be as aggressive as they can on the base pass.
I thought they would steal more. On my bingo card, I did not have, like you said, Jared Jones leading, but I also had more. I just thought more people were going to attempt to steal bags.
Stanfield is the one. Bro, when he's over there, it's every pitch, I'm just by his body language, I'm thinking he's going.
Yeah.
Because he's twitching and he's, but it's I don't know if he has the green light and he's not comfortable.
Right.
But I'm surprised with him because he has been on base. There have been opportunities, but it's almost like you've got Curriell up and Jones to follow. Do you want to get thrown out on a stolen base? Oh, there he is.
Yeah, the ball's hit pretty well.
The guy can cover some
real
estate.
Slides out there, huh?
Dude, he really gets to it.
Gazelle.
Makes it look easy for sure.
How nice is that to have in center?
Oh my goodness, man! It's a good defense is everything for a pitcher.
Yeah.
You know.
Right now, this is their best defensive outfield they
Yep.
have. You have 3 center fielders basically playing.
You think it's because
You got Brown, Stanfield. Who's the other one?
Brown, Stanfield, and Curiel.
Curry.
So you have three center fielders playing.
Do you think that's because of the ballpark?
No.
Maybe bigger dimensions and just be like, let's.
I mean, maybe, but I think he likes this lineup.
Is that
I mean,
the fastest out there too?
I think it'd be
That's
the
the
fastest.
fastest 3.
It'd be the fastest 3 too. You know, I like Larson. I think Larson's fine, but defensively, he's probably 4th in line behind those.
Because they interviewed.
Not Pearson.
No, I don't mind Pearson out there.
I don't think you can pick him up and put him down. Like
Yeah,
the other
no.
ones. But yeah, savvy.
Pearson, I don't mind Pearson. I mean, Pearson made basically a game-saving play in Omaha.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'll put him out there.
I'm perfectly fine with Pearson out there. I have no problem with Pearson out there.
I mean,
Yeah, actually, you know what? Pearson's probably ahead of Larson.
Yeah.
Pearson's just got so many reps, dude.
Savvy, dude. Just a savvy vet.
And
That-
those
that
guys.
relay-
And how old is he?
He's a senior.
22, 23. Like right now in the SEC basketball, like somebody told me this the other day, the best team in the NBA right now, the average age of that roster is 24. The average age of Auburn's roster this year is 23.
It's the
And that's why
Thunder.
they're the number 1 team in the country.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So baseball, that's the transfers, right? Like Josh Pearson is 22, 23.
Yeah.
And to face an 18-year-old when you're 22,
It's
it
a
still
big
matters. Of course it is.
Yeah.
So for me, Pearson, if it were me, right, Pearson would have the 3rd spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because the battles that he's been through. I mean, and then 20 games in, if he's hitting $176,
Don't matter.
then maybe you make an adjustment. But
Right.
dude, in college baseball, when you only get them for 3 or 4 years, the ones with a bunch of innings under their belt, there's just so much to be said
Well,
for
dude,
that.
here's the deal, and like it's allowed 240, right? Like not homer allowed, but like 240. But damn, 2 outs, runners on first, and second and third, 1-2 base hit. It just happens, right? He may be 1 for 4, but that 1 is going to be a big one.
The whole name of the game is the timely hit.
Pitching, defense, timely hitting.
That's it.
That's what
That's
I was
it.
taught.
That's it.
That's it. And Pearson's going to be good enough in defense, and he's
Yeah.
going to get that timely hit.
All right.
What was that? Was that a line drive to center?
No, I was like a little soft fly out to left.
All right. What do y'all do? Y'all just kind of.
No, I'm
turn
gonna
it
sign
all
off.
off?
We normally do the segments at the end, but I know Jared wanted to get in there and do his. We will be live back tomorrow. We'll let y'all know the exact time that will be live. We're not gonna do it on Friday because Jared is gonna be traveling. Our correspondents from Dallas.
Yes.
Yeah. But we'll be back live. Appreciate you. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you don't like watching us, but you like listening to us. Or anywhere you get your pods. We appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Of course,
I get to
man.
go swing
As
'em on
always.
Friday.
Anytime.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get on the course too. I haven't been on the course in a minute. Try to get on the course on Friday. We appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all on Thursday. Peace.
And this is for my curtain call to Rage and Review.
Oh, look at this guy. Why is this guy farting in the thing?
It's my curtain call.
Una persona me manda a caer ronronea. Siga. No, porque sigue. No pares. A mí eso solo que viene. Digo, al mango, o sea, digo, en potencia de la... Esto mejora, chicos. Digo, amigo, no pares. No pares, está rompiendo el recorrido, no pares. Ay. A ver, 40 segundos.